Guys, y'all ready for part 2 on the Craftsman Rider? Next thing we're going to do is put the stator in it, and if the video ain't too long, we'll check the charging system and stuff in it too. May have to do that on a part 3. We'll see how it goes. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell for future notifications of future videos. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Got a question, just leave it in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Let's get started on this thing. Here she is. Let's get the hood off of it. Alright guys, get the hood off. You got this connector right here. You want to unplug it. Like that. That goes to your headlights. And then to get the hood off, these Craftsmans are pretty cool. Husqvarna, Poland, a lot of them have this hood. You just lean it forward a little bit, put your hand in the front of the grill, and just lift it straight up, and it'll come right off. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and take your air filter cover off. Just pull that lever up, flip it up, pull that back, and that just pulls out of these tabs right here, out of them holes. It just lifts right out. Get rid of your air filter. Now we got to take this shroud off. There's 2 bolts right here, and then there's 2 bolts in the back, in the very back. And pay attention to these bolts. The front ones, I believe, if I remember right, are shorter, and the back ones have a shoulder on them. So you want to make sure you put them back in the same spot. But we'll go ahead and take these 2 out. It's 3/8. I'm just going to use a wrench and break them loose. You can see them bolts. It's got a small shoulder on it up here. The back ones usually have a longer shoulder on them, so just pay attention to how you take them out so you can put them back the same. I like to use a magnetic tray. I just set it on the frame, and I can put my bolts in it, and they will stay there. So now we're going to move to the back. Here's your other bolt. And then I'll move to the other side, and you can see the other side. Now you see this bolt, it's got a bigger shoulder on it. Your other bolt is right behind the dipstick tube, right straight down. It's not exactly behind the dipstick tube, but on that side. Once you have those bolts out, those 4 bolts, take your dipstick out and lay it to the side, and then this shroud will lift right straight off. Just pick it straight up. Now we want to take this cover off that just covers the nut up. Let's take a flat tip screwdriver and just get under it, and it pops right out. And the socket you need for this, I'm pretty sure that's 15/16. I'm going to use the impact, but there is other ways to get it off if you don't have an impact, and I may do a video on that later, but for now we're going to use the impact just to make the video faster. Make sure you're in reverse. Piece of cake. And then you just lift all this off together. The fan will come right off. Now you're going to need a flywheel puller, and you can get one from Briggs. The one for this motor and several other motors is part number 19203. You can use that, or you can use a harmonic balancer puller, something similar to this. What's good about this is this will fit several different sizes of bolt widths, where the other one you're kind of stuck with that size only. But we're going to use that one just because that's probably what most people will order. So in order to use this one, you need the bolt that we took out of the crank, and you screw it back down in there. Not all the way, but a pretty good ways. Probably leave a 1/4 inch between it. And then these screw down in these two holes that are in the flywheel. I think I've got the right ones in it. It comes with 2 sets of bolts, so you just have to check the bolts before. I just throw these in it, and of course it's the wrong ones, so let's get the right bolts. These are the 2 sets of bolts that it comes with. It comes with the red ones, and that comes with these zinc coated ones. The way that goes is one nut goes above the puller and one nut goes below the puller on both sides. And then you're going to screw this down in the flywheel as far as the bolt will go, to make sure you get all the threads you can down in there. I'm going to screw that on down to where it's about 1/8 of an inch to give me more thread room. And then do the same with this one. Just like that. It's centered up. Run this nut down against the flywheel, just like that, and then it's a 1/2 inch to tighten it. You don't have to get it real tight, just snug it up. You probably don't even have to tighten it at all. And then this, not the bolt, but this other nut, you want to crank it down and get some pressure on it. Sometimes, once you got pressure on the flywheel, you could tap the flywheel with a hammer just a little bit on the top, and that will pop it loose with the pressure on it. This hammer is probably a little overkill, but you just want to tap it. You don't want to waylay it, just tap it. And if it don't come loose, tighten these bolts up just a little bit more. Put a little more pressure on them. And do it again. Keep doing that until you get it to come off. And it just came off. When those bolts loosen up like that, it came off. And then just take your bolts back out. Got that off. Take your nut back out. And then just get up under that flywheel and lift it up. There's a flywheel key in there. Don't lose that. 222698 is that part number if you ever need that flywheel key. That right there, and then there's your stator. That thing is toast. You see that? Look how fried that is. It's even got plastic melted on it. See the other side, the difference? And then look at that side. That thing is toast. 1/4-inch nut driver. It's got 4 screws in it. Take them out. Got a little tab right here. You just loosen this starter bolt. It's a 1/2-inch wrench. Just loosen that up. And then you can get your wires out from behind it. Pull them up through. There, just like that. Your stator will lift right off. You got the new one. That's part number 592831. And get that thing opened up. It's a dual circuit stator. See in that wiring harness? That's a diode right there. That has to be in there. So now, feed your wire down through that where you took it out at. Line your bolt holes up. Set that on there. Get your 4 screws. Next we're going to put the flywheel on. Flip that over. It's pretty dirty in there. I'm going to clean that, blow all that grass and clean those magnets up before we put it on. Just take something pointy and put it on that flywheel key and just tap it. It'll go right down in there. And then you're good to go. I find it easier. Some people put that flywheel key in first and then set the flywheel key on in there, and then your flywheel key will travel down and then it's gone. So I always put my flywheel on and then put my flywheel key in so I know it's where it needs to be. And then we're just going to reassemble it. Now if you tighten this up with an impact, you don't want to just maul it and just hammer down on it. I've done it so long using an impact, I've never had a problem. But it's something you gotta get used to. You give it about 4 good pulls on the trigger, and that's enough. Remember the shallow shank bolts. The ones, these go in the front, and the ones with the longer shoulder go in the back. That's your cap. Don't forget your cap. Doesn't matter how that goes in there, just snap it in. Just like that. The oil dipstick. Screw it back in. And then the only thing we lack is putting the air filter and the cover back on. I don't know if the customer wants me to tune this mower up or not. Right now he just wanted me to get the charging system working on it. And then we'll check it farther. If he wants me to do more work to it, I will do videos on it. I did check the bearings in the deck. They got a little play in them. It needs new blades. And it needs to be tuned up. The oil is really black. You can see there it's pretty dark. Needs an air and pre-filter in it. Probably go ahead and throw a plug in it. And a fuel filter. But I gotta get the customer's okay first. So the only thing I got left to do right now is to fix this wire where it got cut. So here's our new connector. It's got the diode in it. But he's cut this wire right here. So, and it didn't leave me much to get to. So I'm going to pull that connector out of there and solder that wire back and maybe put some heat shrink tubing on it. I was going to order this wiring harness for it. It was like 30 bucks for some wires. It's got 4 wires. So I thought, well, for 30 bucks I can fix that. Alright guys, let's get this wire took out. There's several ways you could fix that, but the way it's cut, you can see I don't have much wire. So I'm going to get this out and see what I think I can do to fix it to where it won't come apart. I got my little, these are electric connector disconnect tools. They work pretty good. I've had them work really well, and then I've had them to where I can't get it to work. But usually you can put it over the terminal and then just push in until it pops out the back, just like that. Do you see that come out? That works pretty good. Then you can slide that terminal right out of there. You can leave that piece in there until you get ready to put it back. I've got my fancy little wire strippers that I've had for like 20 years. They still work. You can just lay that wire in there like that and get it to where you want to strip it at, and then just squeeze it. That strips it that quick. I love these things. And then we're going to dip that wire into this. Do you see? This is the best stuff for soldering. You just dip that wire down in there. Get a little bit on the wires. That's a little bit more than a little bit, but it'll be okay. It'll just fade away. That ought to be good. Got that stripped. Don't forget to put a piece of heat shrink on that, because once you solder it, well, this is thin, so you can probably get it over that and be okay. But usually this is bigger, so you'd want to put it on the wire first and then put your terminal on and then heat shrink tubing it. Alright, I'm going to slip my heat shrink tubing over this wire. Push it back as far as you can. Just like that. We'll put a little more flux on there where I've messed with it and had my fingers all over it and blah blah blah. And you just want to make sure you take a rag and wipe all this flux off, or it will corrode. Take my rag, wipe that down good. Bring your heat shrink tubing up. And then take a lighter or a heat gun, preferably, but I'm going to use a lighter and just kind of, you don't have to hold it on it, just get a little heat to it and let it shrink up. Just like that. I got a bigger piece. Just slip right over that piece. And I do the same thing. Just put a little heat to it. You don't have to go be crazy with it. Get it too hot and it wants to burn it. That looks good. And then it is tight as can be and good to go. And then you want to bend this tab out right here. That's what that little tool I used at the beginning pushes in. But bend that tab out just a little, and that way when you put it back in the connector, it will stay in there. It won't come out. Guys, easiest way to do this, put your meter on 20 volt DC, check your battery, we're at 1220, and that's just battery voltage. And then when we start it at wide open throttle, it should climb up. I'm going to start it. Seems to be building up slowly, but it's charging. So I'm going to let it run and charge to its fullest, and then I'll bring the video back to where y'all can see that it's charging up to, it should go up 13.5, 14 volts, just letting it run. part of this video. I don't know. Depends on if the customer wants me to fix the bearings have got play in them. It needs to be tuned up. You can hear some of the running on it. It's not running at its best. He's gonna have to get a battery for it. I'll put one of my batteries in it. His won't charge. So I'm hoping we'll have part 3, maybe part 4. But if not, this may be the last video on this mower. He may want to do the tune-up itself, and he may want to put the bearings in himself. I don't know. But if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell, and then if you want to get all notifications, just hit all. And if you like the video, hit the like button, share the video with your friends, and for now, we'll see you on the next video.